Most people think the scariest thing an elevator can do is fall. The cable snaps, the lights flicker, the box drops 20 floors, everyone screams. That is the movie version. But the real version is darker, because most elevator deaths do not happen when the entire cab suddenly falls out of the sky. They happen at the edges. The door opens, but the elevator is not there. The car stops, but not level with the floor. A worker steps into a pit, but forgets there is another moving machine hidden beside him. A child stands in the wrong gap inside a home elevator. Someone gets trapped, panics, forces the doors open, and turns a stalled elevator into a death trap. That is the part nobody tells you. An elevator is not just a box that moves up and down. It is a machine built around hidden space, heavy metal, locked doors, electrical systems, counterweights, shafts, pits, and safety switches that all have to agree with each other perfectly. And when even one part lies to you, the elevator can kill you while looking completely normal. To understand why, you first need to forget the falling elevator. Because the real danger begins with the door. When you stand in front of an elevator, your brain trusts one basic rule. If the door opens, there must be a floor behind it. That rule feels automatic. You press the button. The doors slide open. You step forward. You do not stop and think, is the elevator car actually there? Because why would you? The open door is supposed to mean safe. But in some fatal accidents, that exact trust is what kills. The landing door opens. The person sees what looks like an entrance, but the car is not at that floor. There is no elevator, no floor, no safe step, just an empty shaft, and one normal step becomes a fall through a vertical tunnel. This is one of the nastiest things about elevator danger. The person is often not doing something obviously reckless. They are doing something ordinary. They are entering an elevator. But the machine interface has falsely told them it is safe. That is why elevator door interlocks matter so much. They are supposed to stop the doors from opening unless the car is actually there. They are one of the quiet safety systems you never notice because when they work, nothing happens. But when that safety layer fails, the doorway becomes a trap. And this is where the elevator becomes scarier than the movie version. Because a falling elevator at least looks like disaster. An open door looks normal. And normal is exactly why people trust it. But an empty shaft is only one way an elevator can kill. The second way sounds almost impossible. The elevator can move while the doors are open. Most people assume this cannot happen. The doors are open, so the elevator must be stopped. The door safety circuit must prevent movement. The machine must know people are entering. And most of the time, yes, that is exactly how it is supposed to work. But if a safety circuit is bypassed, wired incorrectly, or not properly tested after repair, the elevator can behave in a way no passenger expects. The car can move when the opening is still exposed. Now imagine the doorway. Half your body is inside. Half is outside. The elevator starts moving. The wall, the car, and the shaft are suddenly sliding past each other with your body in between. That is not a fall. That is a crushing machine. And the terrifying part is that this kind of danger can hide after maintenance. An elevator can be repaired, tested, returned to service, and still carry a defect that waits silently until the wrong person steps in at the wrong second. That is why elevators are not just about strong cables. They are about invisible logic. The machine has to know where the car is. The doors have to know whether they are locked. The controller has to know whether movement is allowed. The brakes, circuits, sensors, and safety systems all have to agree. If they do, the ride feels boring. If they do not, a doorway can become the most dangerous place in the building. But there is another killer inside an elevator system that almost no passenger thinks about. The counterweight. Every elevator car usually has a hidden partner. While the car moves one way, the counterweight moves the other way. It helps balance the system, saves energy, and makes the elevator easier to move. To you, it is invisible. You step into the cab and see mirrors, buttons, lights, maybe a handrail. You do not see the heavy moving mass traveling inside the shaft. But for workers inside pits or shafts, that counterweight can be deadly. Because the shaft is not empty, it is not just a vertical hallway for the elevator car. It is a moving system. The car is one part, the counterweight is another. The cables are moving, the machinery is moving, and the space that looks still can become lethal in a second. This is why elevator pits and shafts are so dangerous for maintenance workers. A person may enter to retrieve something, inspect something, repair something, or take a quick look. And that phrase, quick look, disasters begin. Because the machine does not care that you only need a second. If the elevator is not properly powered down, locked out, and controlled, something can move. A car can descend, a counterweight can drop, a part can shift, a person can be crushed in a space they thought was safe. That is the hidden world of elevator danger. Passengers fear the ride, workers fear the space around the ride, and often, that space is where the deadliest stories happen. But for ordinary passengers, the most dangerous elevator mistake may be much simpler: trying to escape. A stuck elevator feels terrifying. The air feels heavy. The space feels smaller. The phone signal disappears. The lights seem too dim. Every minute feels longer than it is. So people panic. They press buttons. They shout. They push the doors. They look for a gap. And if the elevator is stopped between floors, they may think, I can climb out. That thought can kill. Because the elevator being stuck is usually not the fatal event. The escape attempt is. When you force open the doors and climb out between floors, you are leaving the one place designed to hold you. You are putting your body between the elevator car and the shaft. And the worst part is, you do not control what happens next. The car could move. You could slip. You could misjudge the floor. You could fall into the shaft. You could become trapped between the car and the wall. A stalled elevator is frightening. But in many cases, the safest place is still inside the car. That is the twist. The place people are most desperate to escape from may be the place protecting them. So if an elevator gets stuck, the rule is simple. Do not force the doors. Do not climb out. Do not crawl through a gap. Do not try to rescue yourself like a movie character. Press the alarm. Call for help. Wait for trained responders. Because the elevator is designed to hold you. The shaft is not. But there is one elevator danger that is even more disturbing because it does not look like a city elevator at all. It looks private, quiet, domestic, safe. A home elevator. Most people imagine elevator deaths happening in skyscrapers, hospitals, hotels, or construction sites. But some of the darkest elevator accidents have involved residential elevators, especially when children are involved. The danger is a hidden gap. In some home elevators, there can be a space between the outer landing door and the inner elevator car door or gate. If that gap is large enough for a child to fit inside, something horrific can happen. The child enters the space. The outer door closes and locks. The elevator is called to another floor, and the child is trapped in the path of the moving car. No snapping cable. No dramatic fall. No broken skyscraper machine. Just a quiet home elevator, a hidden gap, and a child in the wrong place. That is why some safety agencies have warned about residential elevator door gaps, space guards, and monitoring devices. Because the danger is not obvious. To an adult, the elevator looks like a convenience. To a child, that gap can become a hiding place. To the machine, it is just part of the doorway. And that is the most unsettling thing about elevators. They often kill not when they look broken, but when they look safe. Even a tiny leveling error can be dangerous. If an elevator stops slightly too high or slightly too low, most young people may barely notice. But for an elderly person, a few inches can be enough. A foot catches. Balance disappears. The body falls forward. A hip breaks. A head hits the floor. And what looked like a small mechanical mismatch becomes a serious injury, or worse. Again, the elevator does not need to fall. It only needs to stop wrong. This is why elevators are so psychologically strange. The biggest danger is not always dramatic failure. Sometimes it is a door that opens to nothing. Sometimes it is a car that moves when it should not. Sometimes it is a hidden counterweight. Sometimes it is panic. Sometimes it is a child-sized gap. Sometimes it is just 5 inches of bad leveling. And then there is fire. Everyone has heard the rule. Do not use elevators during a fire, but most people do not know why. It is not only because the elevator might stop working. It is because the elevator shaft itself is part of the building's hidden anatomy. A shaft is a vertical pathway. Smoke loves vertical pathways. Heat rises, air moves, pressure changes. And in some situations, the moving elevator car can help pull smoke through the shaft like a piston. So during a fire, the elevator can become more than transportation. It can become part of the smoke problem. The machine that normally moves people through a building can help move danger through it. That is why elevators may be recalled, disabled, or reserved for firefighters during emergencies. The rule is simple because the system behind it is complicated. When there is a fire, take the stairs. So why can an elevator kill you? Not because elevators are badly designed. Actually, the opposite. Modern elevators are surrounded by safety systems because engineers know exactly how dangerous the hidden parts can be. The danger comes when trust, motion, and hidden space overlap. The door says safe, but the car is gone. The car looks stopped, but it moves. The pit looks empty, but the counterweight is there. The home elevator looks harmless, but the gap can crush a child. The floor looks level, but it is not. The shaft looks like transportation, but during a fire, it can become a smoke path. That is the real story. An elevator is not scary because it is always dangerous. It is scary because when it becomes dangerous, it often does so quietly. Behind doors, inside walls, below floors, above ceilings, in places passengers never see. So next time you step into an elevator, remember this. The movie version taught you to fear the fall. But the real world teaches something different. Fear the open door that should not be open. Fear the gap you think you can climb through. Fear the shaft you cannot see. Fear the machine when it looks almost normal. Because the elevator does not need to drop 20 floors to kill you. Sometimes all it needs is for you to take one step.